Ducks Unlimited Television is presented by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting, in association with Mossberg Firearms. Built rugged, proudly American.
Hello, I'm Ashley Ward. Welcome to another action-packed episode of Ducks Unlimited TV and the conclusion of our adventure with Field Hunnell in Canada. Along the way, we'll find out why some waterfowl species love to feed in dry fields. Sit back, relax. It's time for another episode of DUTV.
You know, it seems like as a waterfowl hunter, all summer you're just waiting for waterfowl season to get here. That's why I love coming to Saskatchewan. You can come up here in September, pretty much knock the edge off. We're up here in the Prairie Pothole region of Saskatchewan. This is the nesting grounds, and it's the very front of the migration. That's awesome, man. It looked like the sky was falling out on us. These geese started circling. You couldn't tell what was decoys and geese. The geese literally filled the decoys so much you couldn't tell what was what. What we're doing today is an afternoon duck shoot. Where there's snow geese, there's ducks. So that's what we're doing, is simulating a small feed of snows. We've got 2 roost lakes on both sides of us, and then there's about 3 or 4 feeds. If you look right across there, there's a bunch of snows over there on the ground. So we're just in between a big crossroads. There was a lot of snow geese in the area, but we weren't actually targeting snow geese. But if you notice, we did use a lot of snow goose decoys compared to our duck decoys. One is visibility. When you set out a white spread, no matter if you've got a lot of decoys or just a few, those snow geese decoys stick out and they can be seen from a long distance, and that attracts ducks. I don't know what it is about it, but most of the time when you find a big snow goose feed, there's a lot of ducks in there with them. We're basically replicating what's going on right now. A lot of snow goose decoys, a few duck decoys. We're gonna attract ducks from longer distances. The ducks wanna be in there anyway. And if the snow geese do show up and give us a look, that's just another bonus. Right here on the left. On the right here, right here. Once we got to the field, the birds were already out feeding. It was just one of those days that they were gonna be active all day long. So we got in the field and immediately we just started busting tail, trying to get the decoy set, get the blinds brushed in so we can start this hunt. Out front, out front.
They were coming in quick.
Yeah, they were. Ducks were actually feeding a little bit early, so we kicked them out of the field. We're kind of trading around back and forth from different feeds to water. So typically with afternoon field duck hunts, it only gets better the later it gets. So there's a lot of ducks moving around and it should be good. That's how you want them. Make one pass, come back, they lock up, and come right in.
Ducks Unlimited Television, presented by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting. Mossy Oak Shadow Grass Blades, the official camo of Ducks Unlimited, and Ducks Unlimited's Rescue Our Wetlands campaign, banding together for waterfowl.
This particular part of Saskatchewan, there's a lot of agriculture up here. So a lot of these ducks and geese, they're staying on these big willow sloughs, and that's where they're roosting, and they're trading back and forth from the grain fields to the water. So there's a lot of agriculture up here, which is a very valuable food source for these birds to get their energy for the migration south. One thing that Buck Paradise offers is afternoon duck hunts if you didn't shoot your ducks in the morning. Grant had some hunters in that had a phenomenal goose shoot, and they were very gracious enough to let me join them. This time of year in Saskatchewan, you cannot hunt Canada geese in the afternoon. You can shoot snow geese in the afternoon, but not Canada geese. And ducks and snow geese is what we were targeting. These drakes right now, early October, just now getting their colors. So out here in the field, it can be kind of hard to pick out hens from drakes, but he's got enough contrast, you can pick them out. He wasn't far from being full. One thing about duck hunting in Saskatchewan this time of year, you're right there on the line of when these ducks have their plumage and when they don't. You know, we would shoot some mallards that would have full bright green heads, and then you'd shoot some that we call them dirty drakes. They don't have their full plumed out colors yet. And this particular field, there was a lot of pintails. Most of them were really hard to tell the difference between drakes and hens, and it really made it challenging to make sure we're picking out those drakes. There's a lot of pintails out here. You gotta sort through the pintails and the mallards. We're wrapping up our afternoon duck hunt. We've shot enough, we've had a blast. All the ducks are going back to the water, so might as well just pick up so we're not picking up in the dark.
During migration in winter, you often see ducks and geese feeding in dry agricultural fields. They are attracted by waste grains scattered during normal harvesting operations. Corn, barley, wheat, or legumes like peas provide a rich source of energy that can fuel migration and meet increased energy demands during inclement weather. Studies of green-winged teal show that birds feeding in harvested cornfields spend only 20% of their time feeding, while those in coastal marshes spend 33% of their time feeding. That's because most agricultural foods are very high in energy. A little bit goes a long way. Agricultural foods are high in carbohydrates, but birds still need to forage in wetlands for native plant seeds and invertebrates that provide essential proteins and other nutrients. Ducks and geese need different habitat types to meet energy, nutrition, and behavioral requirements throughout the annual cycle. That's why Ducks Unlimited biologists and other waterfowl managers strive to create a complex of habitats that may include agricultural habitats, natural wetlands, moist soil wetlands, scrub shrub wetlands, and forested wetlands. You can find out more about waterfowl and their habitat needs at ducks.org.
DU Insights is brought to you by Mossy Oak Properties. Find your favorite place at mossyoakproperties.com. DU TV is powered by Mossberg Firearms, built rugged, proudly American. Mossy Oak Properties, America's land specialist. Kent Cartridge, performance, quality, tradition, biologic, scientifically proven wildlife products. Higdon Outdoors, quality, customer service, innovation. That's Higdon Outdoors. And Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs.
What we call back home, this is good living right here.
This is perfect morning though. We don't have frost, but it's cold.
When Barkley was watching this field, all these geese are stacked in these swaths. So once the sun comes up and you see our decoy spread, you'll see how we're setting it up to mimic what the geese were doing. This morning we're hunting a barley and oat field, and the field has been swathed for the cattle. So what they're eventually going to do is release the cattle on this field and just leave the swaths there for the cows to eat throughout the winter. A field like this is a magnet for ducks and geese. There is so much food in this field, and this time of year when these ducks and geese are feeding this hard, this is a field you can't go wrong in. Right up front. Take him, guys. Nice shot.
Tika!
These geese and ducks have been out here feeding these swaths. We're right up here on this high point. We got water in front of us, water behind us. There are ducks flying around everywhere, and we just got our first goose. So let's hopefully that's setting the tone for the rest of the day. Take them. Oh, look at the geese coming. This spot, when we set up, I mean, it looked awesome. We're on a high rise, and our plan was to use the A-frame style blinds. There was so much stubble in the field that, you know, we felt we weren't gonna have any problems at all hiding the A-frames. Single, 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 right up front, right up front. Get ready. Take him.
Tika.
Bunch of geese on the left. We had a lot of decoys on the left side of the blind. Just the approach, the flight line, these geese are coming just right down the blind on us, and they're really hard left shots. In a situation like this, it's not safe for everybody to shoot down the line. So what we did is we picked up a lot of the decoys on the left side, moved them out front, actually stuck them over on the right side. So hopefully when those geese lock up, they're gonna see the biggest concentration of decoys on this far right side and hopefully kind of drift over a bit more. Coming right over our back.
Ready?
And take them. Oh, no, what a shell! That was cool.
That was great.
The adjustment worked.
Everybody agrees that you have to follow through with a shotgun. What we don't all agree on is what that follow through needs to look like. The most common advice you get at the gun club is people say, well, don't stop your swing, gotta keep your gun moving. And that's true, but stopping your swing, that's a symptom, that's not the problem. And that's a symptom that's caused by one of two things, either looking at your bead or lifting your head up to watch the target break. And that's what kills a follow through. When you follow through with a shotgun, what you need to think about is keeping your head on the gun and your eye on the target all the way through the shot. When I follow through, I don't move the gun a whole lot after the shot, but I make sure my head stays on the gun, my eye stays on the target until all the way after it breaks, sometimes a long time after it breaks. So it looks like this. I kept my head on the gun, I kept my eye on the bird, I watched it break. Now there's a couple ways you can practice this. Some people will shoot a target and then follow the pieces all the way to the ground with the gun. You can do that. What's more fun, go ahead and try to find a chip, keep your head on the gun, find the biggest piece of the target and shoot that. Doesn't really matter if you hit it or not, although it's fun when you do, but that teaches you to keep your head on the gun, your eye on the target, and follow through all the way through the shot.
Duck Gun is presented by Mossberg Firearms. Built rugged, proudly American. DUTV is brought to you by Bush Hog, performance you can count on. Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting. Native nurseries, hand-selected, hand-grown plants for wildlife. Buck Gardner Calls, champion of champions, with closed captioning provided by Mossy Oak Shadow Grass Blades, the official camo of Ducks Unlimited.
A double reed and a single reed, most people gravitate to a double reed at first because they tend to be a little bit easier to operate, a little more forgiving. You know, I start out blowing a single reed, and I would suggest to other people, because once you learn to blow that single reed, you can certainly blow a double reed, because duck calling is all about air control. It's not how hard you can blow or how long you can blow or how loud you can blow. It's about air control and making that duck call do the sounds that you want it to do to imitate a duck. Learn how to blow that duck call and control your air. And once you do, you can go back to your double reed and you'll be a better double reed caller. But once you learn to blow a single reed the way you want to blow it, it'll be the call you hang with from then on pretty much.
Duck Tactics has been presented by Buck Gardner Calls, champion of champions.
I've known Jace for a couple years now. For his age, he's really done a lot in life. He's done everything from guiding mountain goats, elk, moose. The guy knows how to hunt, and he's got this little black lab named Tika. And what's awesome about it is he trained her himself. And to watch this dog work, it was awesome. She's in the right place, the right conditions. She has a lot of retrieves under her belt. Over. This day, again, is a prime example of what Canada has to offer. Good winds, beautiful scenery, and every direction you look, you see ducks and geese. You're seeing ducks approach from this way and geese from this way. Which ones do you call to? It's a rush of excitement. Honestly, I think you can only get here in Canada. All right, take them. This is turning into a duck shoot, kind of reverse. We thought we were gonna get ducks in the morning, then geese mid-morning, but it was flip-flopped. We got the geese in the morning, and now the ducks are working better.
A nice little mix of both.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of green heads with good color. Look at the head on that. That's pretty right there. He still has a few colors that are off, but that's awesome. Typically this time of year, the ducks pretty much will move the majority of the day because they're feeding a lot heavier, they're trading back and forth on a more regular basis from water to the fields. And again, this is the time of year when all these ducks and geese are ramping up for the migration south, because every day we've been here, the weather gets colder and colder. Right up front. Get ready, guys. Take them. Nice shot. Good shooting on that end. They're low, coming. Get ready. Get ready and take the two. Nice. That was cool.
That was great.
That's it.
That was great.
Another great hunt in Saskatchewan.
In 1937, DU was founded by a small group of sportsmen who wanted to give back to our wildlife resources. Today, Ducks Unlimited is celebrating 80 years as North America's leader in wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Please join us at ducks.org and see you next time on DU TV.